All right, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, I am joined by the star of the Wednesday sessions, Jeffrey.
Hey, everybody.
So we are playing, if you're watching this live on a Tuesday, because Wednesday we're not able to play, so we're going to stream on Tuesday instead, so we're not missing a session. And unfortunately, because we're shifting the date with it, where most of the other players are not available for our usual Wednesday session. So Jeff and I decided to carry on playing Adventure Conqueror King, published by Autarch Publishing, in the very, very cool setting from the Barbarian Conquerors of Kanahu book, written by or created by Omer Joel. And again, Omer, forgive me if I'm butchering your first or I guess last name. And because we are playing Adventure Conqueror King, I am going to quickly remind all the viewers too that we do have a charity fundraising campaign going on the channel right now that we're calling Heroes Save Villages. This is a campaign where we have paired up with the SOS Children's Villages International charity to invite the viewers to consider making a donation to the charity. In the description of this video, I have a link through to the actual donation page and a link to the video that describes why I'm doing this campaign, what it's about, gives you more information about the SOS Children's Villages International as well. Suffice it to say that it's a really terrific charity that specifically benefits children, in particular children in either low-income circumstances in North America or orphans in developing countries as well. So, but as is always the case with our sessions playing Adventurer Conqueror King, we are putting our money where our mouth is to show that we are willing to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And I've made a donation. We have made a donation, I should say. So let me show you. This is what the page looks like. This is the donation page. As you can see, it's very, very easy here. You just have to go on, click on the big donate button, and you can choose an amount. Even $1 is something that helps the folks at SOS Children's Villages do their very, very good work. In addition, there are a couple rewards that are available too. For $2 or more, you can select the Gift of Fate, which you select one of the players in one of our games, and they get a fate point or an action point or whatever it is that that particular system suits. Or if you make a donation of $100 or more, I will run a custom 4-hour session for any of the players, for you, for your players, for however many people you want. And as you can see here, all you need to do is just click on the donate button. You can put in your amount. As you can see, we've made another donation. I also want to give a very, very big thank you to Robert Gamble, who is one of our regular viewers, who has very kindly made 2 donations that are just over $100. Thank you so much, Robert. I greatly appreciate you making that donation, and I look forward to our gaming session together. So anyway, I will also say again that this is a strictly voluntary campaign. If this is not something that interests you, please do not feel like you have to contribute to this. I'd only ask that you consider, if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy the channel, consider clicking through and seeing if you can check a buck the way of SOS Children's Villages International. So, with that plug for the charity out of the way, let's talk about what we're playing tonight. So, we are going to be returning to the burning deserts of Kadar, and with Jeff's hero, Sebek Khu, the Elemental Adept. So let's do the old camera shuffle here, Jeff, and get ourselves into roll 20. Now, for those who may have missed the first session of this, we played a couple sessions playing Adventure Conqueror King so far in Kanahu, but the second one, session 2 of our campaign, was where we met Sebek Khu, and we're running this campaign strictly sandbox. This is a very, very we're letting the dice fall where we may, complete with random encounters and overland travel and hirelings and everything. So, Jeff, while I'm doing my camera shuffle done here, why don't you tell us what happened last session?
Okay, so last session Sebek Khu and his faithful man Kawab the Rock hired a couple of henchmen or henchwomen, as you could say, and we are heading out to the Lost City, where Sebek Khu believes that there will be some ancient knowledge that his order of monks could gain some ancient knowledge. So he's been sent out on this mission. He's promised his followers shares of the treasure, and we came across some giant insect-like lizard things that we promptly scurried around. And then we ran into some very deadly scorpion men who had deadly poison. And unfortunately, one of said henchwomen passed away due to poisoning. I don't remember her name.
I think her name was Aisha. Alas, poor Aisha, we knew you. She shuffled off the mortal coil, or her mortal coil, due to, scorpion venom. So, yes. So what I wanted to do is pick up in that scene. So I'm going to shift us back to the old desert here. So the survivor is Amunet, and you had defeated those scorpion men. Now, you did recover some loot from them as well, and that was a magical spear that looks like it's made out of chitin, like blackened chitin, with a vicious kind of barb on the end. And
right.
There was a potion sealed in a little like canoptic jar kind of thing, made out of terracotta, that had some writing on it that made you think that this may have dated back to the. I need to quickly look at his name again because I don't remember, but it's in the Scorpion Man description. There's the Sorcerer King or God King. That seems to. Oh no, that was the scroll case that had that on it. But this thing. Where is he? Scorpion Man. Nabu Ram, Sorcerer King Nabu Ram. And he found a potion that was a potion of giant strength.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. And then the final thing you found was a scroll casing in it that had a spell that was, hold on, I think it was Wall of Smoke. Oh, excuse me, my goodness.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Got on his character sheet here.
Yeah, and Kawab was going to hold on to it and try and scribe it later.
Hey, interesting tidbit about this, about playing these earlier editions of D&D too. So James's birthday was like a week ago or so. And so I not jokingly, I said, hey, all right, fine, for your birthday, you get a roll in the magic item roll. So this weekend, he sent me his rolls for the magic item for Kelvalos. And Kelvalos actually has I think it's a fourth level spell scroll, which made me look at them like, well, can he even use these things? Turns out, in Adventure of Conqueror King, you can use them regardless of your level. So long as it's on your spell list, first level, if you find a 5th level scroll and you're a 1st level magic user and it's a magic user spell, you can use that fucking scroll.
Wow. That's
cool. It's bonkers. Excuse me. So that's pretty cool. But
well, I would also point out that he also found a scroll of giant strength, the same thing actually.
No, that's the potion.
Or the potion of giant strength.
Yeah, potion was a potion of giant strength.
Oh, right. I have a potion. He found a scroll.
Well, I haven't. I just put them on certain. Like you'll notice that nobody's character sheet, Amunet and Kawab, don't have the. They don't have the spear on their sheet because I wasn't sure which character you wanted to take that.
Yeah, we kind of didn't make a decision before we ended the session there.
No, we had to cut it quick because you had some important socializing to get done.
Yeah, that's right. So I still don't know what the correct answer is.
Okay, so As it
I
stands,
need to think about that. How,
Kawab's got that great big spear, and Amunet has her spear as well. So either
yeah,
of them,
like it's kind of a weapon that either of them would use.
yeah, and it's the other. So one of the things that is neat about spears, Adventure Conqueror King, is that if you've got a spear and you're attacked by somebody who is higher than you in the initiative order, and they've got a weapon that's shorter than your spear, you get to attack at the same time as that other person, as kind of like a jabbing them. This is a neat addition to the setting a spear against a charge kind of rule. One other rule that I forgot, it's not in Adventure Conqueror King, but it's in a bunch of other OSR games, is shield shattering. So what I'm going to allow is when if your character is wielding a shield, like say Amunet, because I think she uses a shield and a spear. No, she uses that big glaive right now. That's right. Amunet doesn't have a spear. She's got that masterwork glaive that you purchased for her.
Oh, right. Actually, that kind of answers it. Since she's got that sweet weapon that I actually purchased for her,
yeah,
then I will then give the spear to Kawab.
Okay, so let me just quickly, I'll tweak his sheet here.
That makes perfect sense then.
Sure. So I'm going to call it the, what do we think here? Scorpion spear?
It's actually, yeah, because it's actually seemed like it was made by them.
Yeah. Oh, here's one big difference. So his massive spear does 1d10 damage. This thing will do only 1d6 in one hand or 1d8 in two hands.
Oh, because he has a large spear.
Yeah.
But this is, what's the advantage of it?
You know what I'll do here? I'm going to put both down. The advantage is it's magical, so it can affect creatures that are only affected by magic.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical
so
D&D. Okay.
It's also, and this a spear can be used as a ranged weapon, whereas his massive spear really can't.
Oh, right. He can't throw. He couldn't throw the massive spear.
Yeah. So I'll put it down. Put the scorpion spear on his.
Okay.
Spear +1. This is okay. He's got it on his character sheet now, and I'll adjust the actual print copy afterwards. Cool. Okay. So you, Amunet is still a little injured from the last encounter, and then what I was thinking of today is that I think you had mentioned last time that you were going to try and burn what's her name's body.
Yes, that was what me and Kawab were going to do.
Right. And the thing is, I was thinking is that that's going to be kind of difficult to do in a desert because there's no, there's nothing to really start a fire with, right? Like, Bedouin use dried camel dung as a way of starting fires because there's just not kindling and stuff like that, and it's not easy access to what do you call it, to wood, and
right.
That's likely the case. Let's do a quick reminder of where we are here. Wow, the burning deserts of Kadar.
Not a very friendly.
No, and
place.
certainly not there's not easy access to fallen woods, at least not in this region. The whole planet, incidentally, is not like this. This isn't like Aphis in Dark Sun, where the whole planet is desert. It's just that this particular region you're in is a desert region.
Right. We just happen to be in the desert.
You got it. Yeah. So, all right. So, what I forgot to do last session. So you've had a henchman die, which means I need to make a morale check for your two other henchmen.
Oh, okay. So Kawab also makes a check.
Yeah, Kawab is technically a henchman.
Hey.
So let's see here. So
what happens if they fail? It's like a role-playing moment, or they flee?
It depends on how badly they do.
Okay.
So let me just open up that. I think I've got on my chart here. This is how excited I am to be playing the game again. I already have taped to my wall my DM screen for this, and I haven't taken it down since we first played. This is how committed, and further to our, before we started recording conversation too. The cool thing with this is I can use this shit for any OSR game I run.
Nice.
You know, if I happen to like these rules better for surprise or for morale or whatever else, I just use this rather than the other, which is kind of cool. I'm just looking to see if I've got henchman morale on here. Monster morale. Henchman loyalty. Look at that. Fucking awesome. There's something to be said for a game that doesn't, you know, that's got a simpler set of rules in the sense that you don't need that much real estate on your GM screen to fit all of the rules up there, all the important tables.
Right.
Let's see here. Okay, so because you've got a -1 to your charisma.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yes, they suffer a -1 for this result. So let's roll for Kawab first. Oh, fuck. Ooh, I think I rolled well.
I honestly just hope Kawab stays. I'm not
You
overly.
don't give a shit about having that?
Not overly.
Okay, so what I rolled for him, let me get the result up here. Here we go. Ooh. So what I rolled for him was grudging loyalty. Means the henchman is reluctant to continue in the character's service, but sees no better options. If the character does not make any improvements to the terms of service, the next loyalty roll will be a -1.
Now, does that when you say if I don't make any adjustments, does that mean my character has some knowledge of this?
Yeah, like role-playing wise, what it would be is sort of like after you're the boss of this group, right? Like you hire both these folks. So after they died, you can kind of picture it as like, as they're putting her together, they're grumbling about, you know, you already got us lost once, you know, we're down to 3 people, and you want to go delving into a ruin that is full of, you know, probably more of these fucking scorpion men and God knows what undead and, you know, all sorts of other evil shit. So they're not, at least Kawab right now is not willing to quit, but it means like if something else happens, he's getting closer to being like, fuck this, you know. So you recognize that there is some ill feelings about how things have gone. Let me roll I'm going to roll for Amunet as well.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing about it.
Whoa. But Amunet gets, because remember she's got the +1 because of your, like how happy she was to be hired and how happy she was to get that new glaive. Right. I just rolled a 12, which is the max. So she is fanatically loyal. Let me see what that does. So fanatically loyal means she is a dedicated and sworn servant of you. All future morale rolls will be at +2.
Wow. Like +2 permanently now.
Yeah. So I'm just checking here.
I mean, she like actually really likes me. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so you've got a total of +3 with her now.
Oh, that other +1 remains as well.
Yep. Yeah, I was just checking to see whether the hiring roll, the other one stacks. They both stack. So you got +3 morale with Amunet now.
That's cool. So like over time, if you have someone that you've built up a positive relationship with, they're more likely to stay with you.
Yep, absolutely.
I really like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Plus, if you make the extra effort going in, right, and you really sweeten up the deal, like, you know, you do something really cool when you're hiring the person, I guess that means that's another thing. If you can get them to be, you know, accept with elan, then that means that when these tests of loyalty come up down the road, you can rely on that person. So Amunet is, while Kawab is sort of, you know, and I picture him being really like dour and sort of, you know, too, you know, reserved and to himself, and most times anyway, and you find he's even more quiet and seemingly walking around with a scowl on his face all the time, even more so than usual.
What I'm going to do is I see that he's sort of upset, and so I offer to him that he can keep that spear, and I'll take it out of my portion of the loot.
So he doesn't have to include that as a pick. Yeah.
Right, like as his 15% or whatever. However our split was going to go.
Yep.
That won't subtract from his portion of the loot.
Yep, that sounds fine. That seems to me that.
But like to keep it fair for Amunet is I'll take it as part of my loot. So even though she's like, you know, really likes me already, I'll still do that.
Sure. Yeah, okay. That sounds. I mean, that's a huge fucking hit because I think that spear's worth like 5,000 or something.
Yeah, like I remember when you rolled it up, you were saying like that would be a lot of experience for us.
Yeah, it's 5,000. So I'm using the optional rules from I found in Autarch to because I want Adventure Conqueror King as written, and if you use the item, you don't get any XP for it. But I'm using an optional rule from Autarch to because I'm fine with you getting XP, some XP for, you know, even if you keep the thing because it's a cool find. So, what are you gonna do with Aisha's body, and do you carry on towards the oasis?
I mean, you can't really bury dead in the desert.
No. So let me tell you what lugging her along with you, because remember that like her, whether it's important to you or not, her religious custom would be that she would be cast into the Silk Sea, but that would mean lugging her along for all the time and lugging her back. Your encumbrance basically is measured in stone, and the number of stone you carry a stone is equal to, in this game, 10 pounds. So 10 pounds of something means 1 stone. And then depending on your strength, it tells you when your encumbrance is covered. She was a priestess. She wasn't a warrior. So I think she's probably like 90 pounds. She wasn't super strong. She's probably about 90 pounds, which means that she's 9 stone. And let me tell you what the encumbrance would be for. The Kawab is carrying, let's see here. Currently, Kawab is carrying, with the, I'm assuming he's lugging your coins, those thousands of coins that you found around. He's currently carrying 9 stones worth of equipment.
Right.
He, however, because she's so damn strong, that only has him at medium encumbrance. If he carried that means they're moving at 90 feet per turn. If he dragged or carried her body, I think if he carried her body, it'll be the full stone weight, which means that he would be his speed would slow down to 60. So it would slow all of you guys down. So you're moving about half speed. If you manage to put together a travel of some kind, something to drag her with, that would have the weight, so she would only be worth or weigh 4 stone, which means his weight would be 13, which still actually would be the same thing. I'm trying to think how encumbered is Amunet.
Oh, it's like
she's pretty heavily encumbered.
Yeah. We're not really in a good place to carry her.
No. So, I mean, I imagine, like, you know, leaving her exposed to the desert, to the elements is probably acceptable. You could bury her if you want, but I mean, like a sandstorm might uncover her, or like a scavenger might uncover her.
Right. I'm just trying to like gauge what I think Kawab. Maybe we take a vote. So the reason I want to like or I don't know, like basically I don't want to like create a negative feeling from either of them by like leaving her body or not. Like if they're if either of them have a strong feeling like I'm doing the wrong thing if I don't take her.
I think there's if you brought her like her holy symbol or whatever back to her temple,
Yeah.
that's probably sufficient, and you can just bury her and leave her, you know, here.
Okay. Like all I'm saying is I just want to do whatever won't upset my other followers.
You have theology too, so I think one of the other considerations is that, you know, this particular region is kind of rife with undead as well too, right? So like there is one of the things you would want to do is make sure she doesn't have a disquiet spirit, because that could cause problems for you too, right?
Oh, and she was the one who was like fought against undead, was like her calling.
Yeah, she was an undead slayer.
Yeah, so I mean, I really don't want to do something where she's going to come back undead. That would be like pretty much guaranteed that we're the ones that she's going to haunt. So
yeah, that's a very accurate assessment, I think. What do you think? I mean, I think it would be sufficient if you left her, you know, buried her body and brought her her like whatever regalia,
right, like her religious like symbol and whatever back to her people.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they can't expect us to haul her through the desert. Essentially, we'd have to stop and return to.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, but that's a fair question. Even, I mean, I realize that like gameplay wise, that's like.
So what would Sebek Khu? Well, let's look at the map. Let's see where you are.
We were like the first segment of journey away, right?
You guys are. So what you are is you're about a day's journey. Well, you're half a day. It would take you half a day to get back to the first oasis you came from.
Right.
It would take you 2 days to get to Fort Protector. And Fort Protector is a larger, that's that place that sort of guards the entrance to the valley where New Kurn is, where there's that mining encampment. Fort Protector happens to be, you know, a big enough community. It's not huge by any means, but I mean, it's a big enough community where you'd have a better chance of hiring a decent replacement than you would at the Oasis, because the Oasis is a tiny community. You could also probably make arrangements to have, if you did want to transport her body back home, you could do that at Fort Protector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll do that. We'll. I mean, I realize that's like, but I mean,
Well, here's another thing too, to consider, or a factor to throw into this mix here, is the fact that like it's clearly that the desert is a dangerous fucking place, you know, and you currently have a 1st level fighter and a 4th level Dragon Incarnate to assist you. You still have a bunch of money left over. Where is it?
Right, like, so we could hire someone else as well.
Yeah.
Like, heading back would also let us replace our fallen traveler.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? Let's do the right thing. We will struggle with her body. We'll try and make something.
So one thing I did not realize from before is I think that I screwed up her. So I'm trying to find my notes from. I wisely, I think, tore up my fucking notes. Oh, you know what? Did I put down on your character sheet what your gold is?
Oh,
because you still had, I think, like 900 and something.
Yeah, like I had 1,000 to start with, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I thought you said like I was down to 860.
Yeah, I don't have it on the character sheet.
No, I don't see it there.
Yeah, because I know that
I'm remembering like 860 or somewhere in that range left.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It cost me something like 100 gold.
So let's just say, Yeah, that sounds good to me. 'Cause that's probably close to right, and we'll just make sure to keep track of that better in future.
Yeah, I mean, I could go back on the episode, I guess, and watch.
Oh, hold up, no, I've got some other sheets here. I wonder if I kept that. No, 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 no. Oh, wait, what's this? Hey, my pack rat nature serves me well. Actually, it serves you well because you actually have 923 GP left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot more, actually.
That's one thing I'm realizing is really, really important with these sandbox things is record keeping.
Yeah,
right?
Which I'm sometimes bad at because...
You and me both. Well, because we're used to playing with this kind of hand-wavy shit, right? So.
Well, yeah, exactly. Kind of like, honestly, it takes you out of the game a little bit.
It does. I think the thing for at least for tracking encumbrance, the reason I think that's important is because it does become a decision, like, you know, knowing how much that her body was going to slow you guys down, because you're only actually, geez, you're going to have to force march to get to the oasis, which means you're going to have to spend a day resting. If you're going back to the oasis first, because you wouldn't get to Fort Protector in a day. It would take you 2 days through the desert to get to Fort Protector. So It might be a safer bet to go to the oasis and maybe like try and buy, if you bought a horse or something like that there, or a mule or a camel, that actually
might be good. Or maybe we could even rent a mule.
Yeah.
Because we could return it. Like, we don't necessarily need it once we're healthy again.
I'm not sure that they're in the, I think you'd have to purchase because the deserts are really fucking dangerous.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could always try and sell it to someone else if we didn't really strongly didn't need it. Yeah.
Well, even having, like, knowing what a pain in the ass that encumbrance is too, having a mule or something to offset that actually.
I mean, maybe we'll have a mule. I mean, that's not terrible.
No.
So okay, so let's do that. Let's go try and go back there, buy a mule, and then head to the farther.
The nice thing with the trip as well is, well, first thing, you got the evening's rest. So you guys, because you did your lay on hands, and then the next morning, I think you were gonna sleep there overnight, right?
Right, and then heal Almanet the next day.
Okay, so let me roll for an evening. Okay, so the evening passes uneventfully. Next day comes, and you can feel free to spend your. Let me actually bring Amanet's token over here.
Yeah, how does my healing work again?
I think when you heal 2 times. Basically, it's 2 points per level. So you have 10.
Oh, I don't know what's missing. I had those character sheets open last time.
Oh, okay. So move over to the map here as well, and I'm going to paste these guys. Wait, deleted. Boom, there we go. Now you can update the things accordingly here. So if you're healing her, she's back up to full, which is, I don't remember what, 8, I think. Yeah, 8 hit points. So
here we go. I got them.
Back up to full. Good. So your morning comes, and you guys are going to set out. Let me see here. So it'll take a day to get there, but where is it? Getting lost.
I really hope we don't get lost.
Yeah, really.
Having a hard enough time just setting out here. Don't need to be lost as well.
That was okay. So it's actually not on the screen, but that's okay. Right, I know where it is. In the adventures section. Okay, so getting lost.
The other thing I'm going to do when we're in the village is I'm going to, along with our donkey, I'm going to purchase some kindling and some stuff to burn any other followers.
Yeah. Good call. So just to note, Jeff, behind the screen, what's going on. So the navigation check to see if you get lost is determined by the terrain you're in. So for a desert, you need to roll an 11 or higher to avoid getting lost. Whereas like on plains, it's a 4 or higher. And to give you a contrast of how difficult it is. And if you have someone with the navigation proficiency, you get a +4 to the roll.
Oh wow! So we're
Yeah.
really missing out by not having a navigator.
Yeah, like that particular skill is really or proficiency is really fucking handy.
Yeah.
So okay, so you I roll to see if you get lost. Now let's roll. You move into the hex here towards where the oasis is, and I think I'm going to call. So I need to give a name for that oasis. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to my brand new Tome of Adventure Design, which I received from Frog God Games, and I purchased from Frog God Games. They didn't don't donate it.
We're not famous enough to be gifted gaming books yet.
No, it's that is quite all right. I'm quite happy to support.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a plea to.
No, thanks, free shit. So let's see your map. Where is it? Names. Crimes. So these religions. There's just a shit ton of cool. All right, let's just do this. I'm going to see what the pride of the town is. Jeff, you roll a percentile for me, please. Let's see what's the thing that. 17, thank you. Ooh, the cleanliness of the people. That's what this place is known for.
Oh, that's cool.
So they've got like a in addition to the oasis, they've got a bath. Like, oh, here's what actually. Oh, I love this. I love fucking random tables. All it does is make my fucking imagination swim. So this whole oasis is actually built around a ruin, an old, like if you think of like a Roman era bath, where there's like big columns and there's a big basin there. Whatever else was built around this whole oasis is completely lost to time and the elements and whatnot. But there are an intrepid Bedouin family that, or not Bedouin, a Kadaran family that have set up a, at some point in the distant past, set up a oasis and a community here, and that's what is there. But it's also known for these baths that have this like supposedly beneficial aspect to them as well. So that's what I'm going to call it. It's Waste Wash. That's what the name of the town is.
Cool.
Or the community. I mean, it's very small. Like it's the most significant structure is probably that giant, structure where the baths are. But okay, so you make it into where Waste Wash is, and you guys managed to make it back to the oasis without incident. It's about maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun is low in the sky. Excuse me, the sky off to the west when you come walking into Waste Wash. And the people there are quite pleased to see you. They're not pleased to see you. They sort of are, greet you. And I think there's a little. It's probably the same kids who were teasing you before for getting lost in the desert.
All right.
You got lost coming out. They're like, oh, lost again. One's dead. One's dead. And they're sort of taunting and whatever. You guys didn't have to do a forced march, which means you don't have to spend more than 1 night here if you don't want to. Everyone's already healed up and whatnot, so you can just get in and see if there's, a mule.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and buy a mule. I am gonna scold the children and say, just something of, like, should have respect for the dead.
Yeah, you could even have your eyes flare up with fire, right?
Yeah, like something to sort of intimidate them a little.
They all turn, they go scampering away. You meet up with the. So mule's 20 gold pieces. So hold on, a donkey is 8 and a mule is 20. What the hell's the difference?
Oh, big
I mean, I know
difference.
the differences between the two things, but I don't know.
Right, like in reality.
Yeah, in reality. Yeah, like I know the difference between a mule and a donkey, but okay. So a donkey has a normal load of 8 stone and a maximum of 16. A mule has a normal load of 20. So there's the reason, a max of 40. Wow.
Okay, so a big strength difference.
So but there's so because it's a small community though.
Right, let's see what they have.
So for sure, they have one mule for sale or one donkey for sale, but there's only once you roll 10% for me, 10% chance of a mule being available. Normally I roll this shit behind the screen, but I'll let you roll.
No.
Yeah. So the only option is a donkey for 8 gold.
We'll take the donkey.
The donkey. Okay, so Eeyore is yours.
Wonderful.
Okay. So mule, and you're down to
15.
Yeah, I'm not including the silver coin you got there. So 9. Hold on, it's -8 is man, my brain is fucking mush today. It's really, really humid here today. He said as an excuse. Okay, so that is that. All right. So
so that'll make the next leg of the journey a little easier.
Now, one thing you can also do is if you want to try and like bolster your party for the trip to Fort Protector, because at this speed it will take you 2 days to get to Fort Protector. What you could do is ask around. Now, do you remember how you had to spend a bunch of money to see who was available as a henchman before?
Right.
So that is gauged by the size of the community. So the smaller the community, the cheaper it is to figure out who's available. So like at the last place you had to spend about 15 gold to figure out. Here it's 1d3 to find out who's available. Now, are you concerned about hiring, an extra hand for this, or are you going to risk the trip back to Fort Protector with who you've got?
Yeah, I think we'll risk it to Fort Protector and try to hire there.
Okay. Awesome.
I don't know that people of cleanliness are necessarily tough out on the desert.
It's a really small community too, so
like they're not known for their.
No, it would be luck more than anything if you found someone who was worth hiring here.
Right.
So okay, great. So the next morning comes, and you know what I'm going to do between now and the next session too is print out a copy of the calendar so we can track this and see like how much time passes in the game.
Right.
This is way more. I mean, like we normally everything happens, takes so long. It's 3 or 4 sessions that take up 1 day. It's so cool seeing so many days fly by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, your food too. Shit.
Yeah, we'll have to track that. I know we bought more rations.
Yeah, you now we've standard rations. So you currently have 7 standard. So you used 1 more standard ration yesterday. So you're down to 6 standard rations.
But we are so one less person, so we kind of gained rations that
Yeah,
way.
that's true. So let me think here. So it would have been 7 and 13 iron. So actually you've got so I'm going to bump it up by 4, which means 17 iron rations. And the 7 divided by 3 is about 3. So the thing is with the standard rations is that they spoil though.
Right, we're eating those first.
Yeah, so the thing is that when you run out of those anyway, whatever's left over that was Aisha's share, it's going to spoil.
Right.
So I'm not going to bother tracking those. But you do have 17 extra. You have 17 days worth of iron rations for the 3 of you. So you got there's no concern about you running out. All right. So first day out, you guys get your shit, get your water, refresh your stuff, get your mule, load up. Oh, you know what? Load up the mule. So you put her on the mule, which means you can now move at your normal rate, which is 90, which means you'll be able to reach Fort Protector in, I believe, a day. Let me just quickly. There's a couple things I realized that I was fucking up last session. One of them was Kawab's encumbrance. Because both Kawab and Amunet move at 90 and not at 120.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're carrying more. And you move at the the slowest rate, which means you move 18 miles a day. And then the terrain, desert is 2/3 movement. So that means you are moving 12 miles per day. So yeah, so I know that's right. It's 2 day journey. I think I might have done this math last session now that I think of it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so let's as you set out, let's see how things go in terms of the navigation. Okay. You set out.
We're just at the whim of the dice on that one.
Yeah. It's really neat. I mean, I think it's I don't. You'll tell me as a player whether it's really scary, but I mean, it really does. I think make that makes the setting out into the fucking wild. Like I don't know if you know if you've ever gotten lost when you've gone hiking before, but I've done that twice, and it's fucking terrifying.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you right now that like someone who is a navigator is very high on our hiring list.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, so you guys set out, and let's roll for encounter because you're in a new hex now. Okay. So you set out, and the first like 4 hours of travel are just it's you and trackless dunes before you, and you know the only real noise is the sound of your feet stomping through the sand, and then the odd kind of like from the donkey. I have no levels put in my imitate donkey skill, so my apologies for the shitty donkey sound. So then again, you're hiking a little further. Let me roll one thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You find that what you're doing is you're winding back and forth through these dunes are at a weird angle. Like the wind has put these at a weird angle, so you find yourself sort of having to walk up or wind your way around them. And as the day gets further and further on, you realize that the sun is much lower in the sky than you expected, and you have no idea where you are. You should be getting close to Fort Protector. You should be able to at least see the mountains and the horizon at this point. And yeah. Okay. So I did roll an encounter, so give me a sec here. Grab my encounter sheet. Now, for those who may be listening at home live, I said on Google Plus that I was going to use. Someone posted a really cool special or Kanahu focused encounter sheet, and I said I was going to use that tonight, but I actually forgot to print it, so I'm just going to use my kludge together one instead. So let's see what's in the desert here. The desert. First, I roll a D8. Actually, here, Jeff, why don't you roll a D8 for me? Let's see what comes up here.
Okay.
I mean, you can be to blame for what's happening here.
Bang.
4. Okay. And now, please give me a D12 roll.
D12.
Yeah.
9.
9. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. So let me roll a reaction here.
They're happy leprechauns with pots of gold.
Ooh, okay, interesting. And now let me grab my book. They are unfortunately not happy leprechauns. So let's go back to my desert map here again.
Nice.
Scroll out. Yeah, really. I'll get rid of my scorpion men. Reluctantly. Oh, my scorpion.
Oh, please not more scorpion men.
No, those things are deadly.
Yeah, I don't like those guys.
Let's see here. What I realized too is I need to make sure I start listing all of what I've got in my library by name, because then it'll search it. I've got some pretty cool. What we got here? What I'm going to do as well as a kind of a make work project for myself is I'm going to load a bunch of different images into my library. So that
just so you have a few.
Yeah, just I got some shit. Oh, you know what? I know I can use. I think I do at least. Hold on. Actually, bear with me one sec here, Jeff. I've got. Actually, I don't know what that'll do. Give me 2 seconds here. If I can't find something that's appropriate in a minute here, I will give her up.
Just use anything.
Yeah, I'll also use something. They've got some passable things I could use here, but I think I'm thinking back to what we've encountered in some of our recent games, and all the shit we've encountered in recent games is stuff that will be in my library. Means I can drop it into the game directly. I have a lot of undead in my library. I think I have a tell here, which is that I love using fucking undead. How about battle mechs? You want to fight some battle mechs?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, you take them.
It'd be fun. It'd be hard, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah, it's worth. This is why you, sir, are a trooper. You're like, fuck it, let's try it. How hard can it be?
I can guarantee you it'll be fun.
It'll be fun for somebody, yeah. Well, that's not true. You're pretty good. That's not pretty good. You're really good at rolling the old punches. Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to use this image. It's not what they look like. They're actually lizard men, but I've got a really cool Blindheim token that I'm likely never going to be able to use, and I'll just use that as my lizard men. So it isn't what. Okay, let's roll the counter distance as well. Actually, Jeff, can you roll 4d6 for me? Figure out how many of these suckers there are.
Come on. Arrows are so small to hit. $17.
17. Okay, thank you. Very much means. Okay. All right. Okay, so what you see is basically you guys are making your way around the dunes. It's late in the day. The sun is hanging lower in the sky. People are starting to get a little. I mean, Kawab is a little. Well, no, he's not muttering or whatever else under his breath because you satisfied him by giving him that magical spear. Let's look over here. The distance between where you guys are and where these things are, and again, it's just the Blindheim does not reflect what the lizard men actually look like. Lizard men, these guys are, well, first let me tell you a little bit about lizard men in Kanahu. Lizard men are actually a civilized species. They are intelligent, they have a very advanced civilization. They are they're not like the murderous kind of primitives that you see in other D&D settings. At least most of them are not. In this case, however, like a lot of other desert tribes, these guys seem to be a little bit wild. And there is a small group there of 6 of them that
so
are.
I have some idea that they look wild.
Well, they look like they're desert dwellers. Like they're,
okay.
To be honest, what they look like is either desert hunters or desert raiders. It's tough to tell. This region, it could be one or the other. As you come around, let me see. Okay, actually, would you kindly roll a d6 for me? I'll see if they're surprised. They are not. You roll a 4, and you guys are not. So you guys know. So you guys sort of see each other at the same time. You're about 170 feet away. Sorry, 170 yards away. And yeah, what do you do? Like, just so you know as well, lizard men, like you would see them in the streets of Kurn, right? Like you would. These are people who you could not these guys necessarily, but like lizard men are just like any other species in Kanahu. You could hire them as mercenaries and trust they're not going to eat you or whatever. But this is a wild pack, you know, found in the middle of the desert. And as you guys see each other, these the two in actually, first off, can you give me your marching order? So the closest to them and then furthest back, and we'll just abstract that. They're marching about 2 by 2 here, I think, in sort of a loose formation.
Are they coming towards us?
You're sort of. I think maybe you're sort of like you guys have come together in a sort of parallel way. There's this like depression between a couple dunes where you're walking along here, and
they're in the front, and I'm leading the donkey.
You're leading the donkey. Oh right, there's a donkey.
Yeah, there's a donkey.
So I got another target for me. Ooh.
Oh man, I hope they don't kill our donkey.
Hey,
gold for that thing.
Yeah, really precious. Let me. Okay, so they come around the corner. Fantastic. Oh, it's a premium asset. I cannot access it. What?
So, is there like a common salute of any type that you know, that I know of, or that people would use on the desert road to sort of like?
Well, this is it's not a road. Like you're in the middle of here. We go.
We're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I get that.
There you go. There's your mule.
Donkey. Oh, I would love it if he transformed into a mule.
Oh, right, he's a donkey. Sorry.
It's a sad donkey.
Here.
Okay, so
There you go. You got control over donkey now. So, yeah, he comes around the corner, and they look at you, and these things have like, you know what? Do you remember, or do you know the picture of lizard men from the original Monster Manual?
It's not instantly familiar to me, but
because I'm a giant nerd and read it so much when I was a kid. And they actually they sort of make a point of saying that these things, the lizard men in this world, look just like the illustration. This is
okay.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he is. Oh, that's what they look like sort of like the combination of men and monitor lizards. They walk around the corner. They've got this dull, like brownish orange, ruddy scales. They are carrying spears. They've got vicious claws, and they sort of, you know, are sort of chattering at each other. And then they see you, and all of them kind of, you know, raise their spears in anger.
Oh, like it's clear they're angry.
Yes. What?
They're not angry, but like, okay, they're hot. They're probably hostile. Okay, so
they seem on. Yeah. They're not charging at you right now, but they are kind of looking at you. So I think that
what I'm going to try is Kawab is going to step forward. Or not Kawab, sorry. Sebek is going to step forward, and he's going to yell out, just peaceful travelers, we mean you no harm.
Okay. The lead lizard man sort of looks and he says, peaceful. You are moving through our land. He says in like a hissing kind of trade tongue. I guess he wouldn't talk like that. It'd be more like a, you're moving through our land.
Unintentionally, we are lost. What's the name of the place we're trying to get to?
You're trying to get to, I think it's Fort Defender.
Oh, Fort Defender. We were on our way to Fort Defender. I think we've taken a bad turn.
They all sort of laugh. Two of them are sort of like going to move their way over.
Okay.
And the other two are sort of moving over this way. Lost.
If you could point us in the right
land.
direction, we would be very grateful.
No directions needed. Late. It's late. You should stay with us. We will keep you safe, travelers, lost travelers. And then moving a little closer too.
Okay. We're not running away at this point. I think that Kawab and Amunet are both have their hands on their weapons, but they're not like making any gesture of combat or anything necessarily. They're just holding them.
Sure.
And Sebek maybe has like a walking cane or something that looks kind of like it could be a weapon, and he sets it down.
Yes. Safe. Keep safe, this thing says. Now, lay down all weapons.
No, I don't think we need to lay down all our weapons.
You are in our land. You are strangers. You must... That's the wrong thing. You must not be... You must respect our home. You understand, yes?
Is there anything like... Just wondering, like, how... Like, if I can sense motive or...
No, I mean, that's one of the kind of fun things with this, you know, this style of play is that you're sort of... You got to judge from what they're doing.
Right. Well, then I don't think we trust them. I'll say, we're going to leave your lands. It's not too late for us to continue on our way.
No. Well, I'm just gonna. Let me.
Are they continuing to approach?
The two groups that seem to be trying to flank you. Yeah, they're still. Like as soon as you put your staff down, these things are still brandishing their spears and they're sort of moving their way over and around.
Okay.
These two are starting to slowly make their way forward too. They've all got tight grips on their spears as well. They're probably about up here are probably about maybe 30 yards away right now. These ones are probably about the same, maybe a little more, and these guys are probably about 100 yards away. So I'm trying to maybe I'll move them back a little bit then.
I'll say, if you come any closer, we'll be forced to protect ourselves.
You are lost travelers. Lay down your wealth, and you may leave our lands.
No, I believe we will be leaving with our wealth, and then I'll signal to Kawab and Amunet to rush at the group on the right.
Awesome.
And I'll rush at the group on the left.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's roll some initiative. No one's surprised here, so there is nothing we need. I will. Well, I just while we were talking, I set up the. Boom, there's a minute up there. I set up the token so you can just click on them. They've got the appropriate. What do you call it? The appropriate armor on them, so you can just attack directly. And actually, for those listening at home who may not have used the Adventurer Conqueror King sheets on Roll20 yet, they're really fucking great. Like, not only are the sheets themselves really good, they've got a lot of versatility. It's automatically set up so that when you click on a token and then you click on attack, it will tell you whether or not you hit based on whatever the armor of the target is. So it's really it's nice to save one bit of having to go back and forth and ask about, you know, whether did I hit this AC or not. Okay,
so which turn does Aminette go on? My turn,
on
or
her own? If you click on her token and then click on the hireling thing,
okay,
and
she does have an initiative.
Yeah, she does. Okay, so let me sit in descending here. So while I was chatting there, I was checking my thing. Oh, I need to get their, I'll roll their hit points as we go here. All right, so let us see what you're going to do. So it looks like Sebek Khu, not surprisingly, you were up first because you're so damn fast. What are you doing?
I'm going to use my. Let me just quickly check them before I tell you.
Sure.
Off the PDF. I think it's the falling.
You're going to attack with surrendering?
Flaming fist? No.
Falling
Comet Strike. That's the one. Yeah. So I have to have at least 5 yards of open space.
Yep.
Which I do.
And yep.
So this is the one where I leap into the air, and as I'm running towards them, he almost starts to like climb in the air on flaming pads that then race up his body and collect on his fist, and then he lands down on top of one of them with a flaming punch.
Awesome. Which ones? Which group are you going to kind of target?
Oh yeah, I'm moving towards this group.
Nice. Your fist, let's go. Let's see if you hit him.
Okay, falling comet strike.
So click on whichever one you're targeting.
Yeah.
Ooh,
nice.
Nice. So 13 damage. Yeah, you hit, and you know you've got a knack for targeting the one that I used to roll initiative. I'm just gonna get rid of the other one because I know which one I rolled initiative with, and I'll just shuffle them around. I don't want
yeah, sure. It doesn't.
You leap up, you bring the fist down, it shoots out this giant burst of fire that's raised, it's like worked its way up from your feet through your body, and it just incinerates this thing, and it and pops. So because
and again, it's very dramatic, and when he lands, he looks at them and he says, "Don't make me kill any more of you."
Yeah, let me roll the. They need to make a morale check now because you killed one of them already. And oh, yeah, interesting. Okay, so then it's their turn, and the leader screams out, "Run! Run for it!" And these guys are running off into the hills, or to the mountain, or to the desert. These guys go scampering off, like scrambling at the top of the dune. This guy is going to do a oh, I didn't declare it, which means
if they've turned to run, I'm not going to attack him.
You're not going to attack him, okay? Because the thing is that on when they roll initiative, you have to declare, unless you've got proficiency, you have to declare whether you're doing a fighting withdrawal, and I did not. He thought he was going to be in combat, so he is going to, yeah, he'll turn and run. So if you're sure you don't want to take a pot shot at him.
Yeah, I'm sure. I didn't want to kill these things.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So they go scrambling off, terrified of you guys. And
nice.
Yeah, that is that. So if you let them go, then that is the.
Yeah, I'll let them go.
Imagine you want to probably travel a little more to get some more distance between where you encounter these things and the what do you call it? Where you're going to make camp. But you do
absolutely. We will head back a ways from them now.
Okay, so you find a place where there is a, you know, sort of like in a nestle at the base of the dune, maybe, and that may be really dangerous. I really don't know one way or the other. But you make your camp there, and the evening passes uneventfully.
Perfect.
I do love that my mic picks up the dice roll too. Because it really captures the in-person nervousness of the DM rolling behind the screen, right?
Yeah.
So next morning comes, and it's time to see if you can figure out where the hell you guys are. Let's see.
You're definitely hiring someone with navigation.
Okay, so next day of travel continues on, and you find yourself in this fairly stony, like Badlands kind of area. The dunes have given way to a more of like small stones and dry and parched and packed rock. You know for sure you are not heading the right direction now. You still don't.
Oh, like still.
Yeah, you're for sure. You don't know where the hell you are right now.
Okay.
So, what you could do is, let me actually hold on. Let me look at the rules again.
Is there any way to use like the sun to like gauge what direction we're going?
I think you're trying to do that, but because of the nature of the terrain, actually, let me roll randomly to see where you did end up as well too. Okay. Yeah, it's up to me to decide where, when you sort of figures get yourself unlost. But the difficulty is the terrain here. It's not like you're like, oh, now I'm in mountains or now I'm at a stream or whatever. Like it's like, okay, it's more desert.
Right, of course.
Yeah. So are you going to carry on traveling for the rest of the day to try and find your way? Or are you going to, I guess that's really all you can do, eh?
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know any other strategy other than continuing to find a landmark or
Yeah, let me see.
Another community or something.
Okay, so you do travel for another day, and then you finally sort of realize where it is you've ended up, and you are right here. So it means another evening. You're actually not too far away from Siltside.
Wait, where did we?
So you were up here.
Over by Siltside. We're trying to get to this one?
So you're trying to get back to Fort Protector up here.
Oh, which is this one.
I keep saying Fort Defender, but it's Fort Protector.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fort Protector here. Kurn is where we started.
Kurn is where you started. Yep, that was your home. Your home base.
Do I have some kind of a map or something?
You do. Like this is what you were looking at is what what the area that you sort of know already.
Like we are almost the same distance to Kurn.
Yeah, and actually, there is a road between Siltside and Kurn, and you travel at a little bit faster rate along the road than you do.
I mean, we could just try to kind of continue south and try and hit the road back to Kurn.
Yeah, and if you hit the road, the road is like no chance of getting lost.
Right, exactly.
So,
and that might help us because we're...
Yeah, so you have to camp one more night, but then because of the road, because you'll be able to travel at your full rate, you can actually travel 3 hexes, so you can get yourself back to Kurn. Right. Actually, Kurn will have a much better chance of hiring if you're trying to replace your
right.
You lost.
Well, and if we're trying to find an actual navigator,
yes.
the bigger city has a better chance of that, I'm assuming.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And I mean, then we can also ourselves return. Oh crap!
Aisha.
My real Aisha.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great.
Like to her people, so that we're not like just like. Oh, and also, can someone please return this dead body? Okay. It's like we're the worst like library book renters in the world,
That's actually I still get emails from the law library here. Like every month they send out like you still owe us thing, and I've been getting emails for a book that I returned late like 9 years ago.
Oh man.
Yeah. Would you kindly roll 1d8 and 1d12 for me, please?
Yep.
No particular reason.
Yeah, no, that's not a random encounter or anything.
Okay.
Well, so now we've seen both spectrums of the fear or the morale mechanic.
Yeah, yeah.
We had the one time where we were fighting those guys who were quite brave and like the Scorpion Men.
Yeah.
And now we sort of fought the Lizard Men who it worked the other way and they ran away immediately.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, I slayed their poor dude.
No, and you annihilated. You were way more powerful. So if you want to know what what the reaction mechanics were, is I rolled for them that they were unfriendly may attack. So basically, I just sort of decided that, you know, if you look to be more powerful than them, or like you would hold up, you know, well to their attack, that they would not attack you. But as soon as you're like, look, we're lost, we just want to, you know, get in our way, they took it as like, okay, you're weak.
Right. They saw it as weakness, whereas
Yeah.
we were just trying to, you know, be peaceful.
Yeah. You just want to
They
go
kind of
about
don't. They kind of don't get that concept.
No, and they probably, you know, knowing how they reacted, they probably were raiders actually.
Okay. Right.
So, tell me about the plans. Oh gosh, tell me about the plans for keeping watch. How does the evening watch work for you guys?
I would think that we would each take a turn, and Sebek would let the other two rest first, and then he would let Amunet have a full. Actually, it's probably more awkward to have a split up sleep, isn't it?
No, you can do whatever you want. What do you guys want?
I'm just thinking of like real life, like at least for me personally, like 2 4-hour naps might be, well, maybe not. I guess people used to do that all the time. So yeah, I'll take the first shift, and Kawab will take the middle of the shift, and Amunet will take the early morning shift.
Early morning shift. Okay, so let me roll something here. So first is you, then Kawab, then Amunet?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And would you kindly roll 1d6 for me, please?
D6.
Nice. Okay. So what happens is very late at night, you guys and your donkey are camped. Would you roll 4d6 for me as well, too, please?
Nice.
I need either make these tokens smaller or the map bigger. Here's I can just make the tokens smaller.
I actually have this one on my list now.
Whoa, 18. Okay. Great. All right. So just resizing your guys, and then I need to resize some of these tokens because they're way bigger than is necessary. Oh, you know what? Let me roll reaction. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. Okay. So you guys are fairly close to the Silt Sea right now. You may remember. And the Silt Sea is a trackless kind of like area of very, very, very fine sand that is effectively like, imagine an ocean full of like quicksand. That is what the Silt Sea is like. But there is a whole bizarre mutant ecosystem that that exists within the Silt Sea. The reason I mention that is because you're about to be introduced to something that lives in the Silt Sea. So what happens is Amunet is keeping watch. And I think we'll see this from Sebek Khu's perspective, maybe, because it's probably more interesting that way. So Sebek Khu, you're sleeping when you feel something like roughly sort of poking at you. You wake and you look up and you see it's Amunet is sort of standing over you and looking around wildly with her glaive out, and she's hitting you and trying to poke Kawab with her glaive. She says, "Get up! Get up! There's something out there."
Sebek Khu wakes fairly quickly. He's not a groggy sleeper.
Sure.
Whereas Kawab is kind of much more groggy to wake up.
You get up and there's the fire burning, and then you can see out that far, and Amunet is saying that she's heard something out there.
Okay. I'll say, did you hear voices or movement?
Movement. There's something big. And there's more than one. You stop. Actually, I think you can probably hear it. They're not making an effort. There's kind of like a croaking, gurgling kind of sound, and it's coming from like there's one over here, and over here.
Oh.
There. Over there.
Oh man.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna tell Kawab, get up.
He gets up and grabs his massive spear, and he's looking around. The mule, again, I can't make a mule sound, or donkey rather. I said donkey, so it's a hee-haw, right?
Yeah. Hee-haw.
That's gonna kill my throat, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah,
he's finally something large coming. Many of them.
What are you guys doing?
Form a defensive circle. So, like, do they sound like beasts or like
really big? I'm trying to think what it would sound like. Imagine what the sound of like a. It's not like a croaking, so it's not quite the same. But imagine the sound of like a bullfrog kind of sound, but a bullfrog the size of.
But they definitely sound. So they definitely sound beastly.
Definitely, it's not. It's not an intelligent.
Right.
Voice that's out there.
Right. My point was like, there's no point of yelling out like, "Show yourselves," or that's what I mean. Like,
no,
I don't think they're humanoids or.
No, it's bestial sounds for sure.
Mm.
The first thing you think is like, did they follow us? Those lizardmen follow us.
Right.
Yeah, the lizardmen, they speak like, it's not like they speak a weird language. They speak I think it's Sakaran they speak, which one of the versions you speak.
Right.
I wrong about that.
I probably clue in that it's not the lizard man.
No. So what are you gonna do?
I don't have any lore of the beasts out here. I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Your theology training has left you poorly equipped for giant beasties that may have come crawling up from the.
Yeah. Exactly.
Amunet says, "What is it? What is it out there?"
You know?
She shakes her head.
Some type of foul beast has come for us.
And Kawab's got limited experience outdoors as well, too, because he's a gladiator.
Right.
So, puts his spear down, and he sort of is looking in one direction, looking in the other one. And this goes on for about an hour.
Oh, wow.
And about that point is when you recognize that there's actually no further croaking. The last sound you heard seemed further off and further away. Such that when morning comes,
they were just doing their like night hunting or something.
You find nothing.
Yeah. Now that's something that anyone would know. Maybe not the beasts of this area, but that like toads and creatures like that often hunt in the early morning.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't want to get too much of the indication. Like it's sort of Bullfrog is sort of like the only thing I could think of that would be making.
Oh,
that
okay.
kind
Well,
yeah.
that's the. I'm just saying that's the sound sort of as I interpreted it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just saying that, like, Sebek is saying, you know, like, I think that it was just something early morning hunting, and we were obviously not its prey.
If you take the time to take a look as well, too, you can find, you can't track it, but you find at least one or two tracks of something very big. Like it's a big, like 3-toed or 4-toed print that's got like claws on the end, and it has very like sort of triangular, pointy ends to the feet. They don't seem. I mean, obviously they're in Kanahu. It's either cats or men who are the males, but you would think maybe a lizard of some kind. Some
right.
Yeah.
And I mean, reptilian or something, amphibious, like something
Reptilian,
like that was what I kind of was picturing based on the sound.
Yeah. So something like, was out
right.
there.
Not that I knew what it was, but just that.
Yeah. Okay. So with the next day, let's see if we can get to the road.
Odd that they weren't.
You found yourself here now, so let's see here. Roll 1. Holy shit. Give me a D8 and a D. A D8 and a D12, please.
All right.
Hopefully, this is something on the road. Hopefully, I'm not looking at the wrong thing. So D8 was 6.
So 6 and a 12.
6 and 12, okay.
Now it's the happy leprechauns.
Oh boy. Hold on. Oh shit. I think looking at the time, I think what we'll do is we'll sort of reveal what this thing
like
is.
a nice, a little
a good cliffhanger, and then we'll pick up with that encounter. Let me just. Oh, this is. Actually, let me just roll for surprise. Because if this thing's surprised, you are not going to want to fight this thing. At least I don't think you are. It's surprised. All right. So what you see. Let's see here. How far away is this thing? And you can tell me.
Surprise me. We see it before it sees us.
Well, roll 1d6. Let's see if you're surprised. And technically, you got to roll for both.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
Come on, good roll.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Whew. All right. So this thing is 150 yards away. And I think you guys, okay, you know what happens? Is you guys are walking along, and then suddenly Kawab gets this look in his face of kind of like of worry. And he says, off the road now. And he runs over and sort of like dives into the ground and sort of like throws his cape over him, try and hide himself.
Okay.
What do you do?
Follow suit, I guess. Try to
hide yourself.
Yeah, try to hide myself.
That's roughly the same. What you hear? Do you look up or not?
Yeah, I will peek out from my hiding place.
Do you hear from above you? Massive wings beating, and you look over and you can see about a quarter of a kilometer away, fairly low to the ground, this enormous flying reptile. At a glance you think, oh my god, it's a dragon. It's just got this long reptilian neck covered in heavily armored scales, but instead of a fine tail, it winds behind. You can see, just like those scorpion men you fought, there's a vicious stinger on the end.
Ooh.
Wherever it's going, It does not notice you.
Thank God.
So your hearts were kind of beating in your chest. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be running. It's fortunately sort of like was cutting across the road, so it's not heading in the same direction as you guys. It's heading actually off in the direction of like Siltside or off towards wastewater or wastewater. Oh, so then let's see. Yeah, you're able to make it back to Kurn without any further incident. Let's take a quick look at the safety walls. Kurn here again.
That's so funny. We're back where we started our journey.
Yeah. So, well, you are a little bit richer. So yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. So you're gonna make your way into Kurn, and what we'll do maybe is we'll role play through what happened in Kurn with what's her name with Aisha's body. But you want some XP tonight, so let's
Nice.
give you some XP. So the giant flying creature, you don't get any XP for that because you didn't actually encounter it. But whatever was snuffling around in the dark, I will give you XP for. I'll give you half XP. Because that potentially could have been dangerous, and you did listen to the, that element looks hot. Maybe I shouldn't put my hand on it.
Right, of course. I think as a group we're cautious.
Yeah, I think that's.
And we're also I think one way I would describe our group is we are like combat. We don't avoid combat completely, but we will do our best to avoid unnecessary combat.
And I think that's a responsible, and that's also something that's, the OSR type games seem to encourage, because like if you run in and fight everything you see, you're either going to get killed by something that's way more powerful than you, or you're going to blow through all your resources because it's harder to heal. You got less things. So if you end up with 2 encounters in a day, you're fucked because you've blown all your XP or hit points and stuff like that at the first one. Let me see here. I need to do a little bit of math here. Let's see here. Where are we? And I'm actually, I will, if you encounter whatever it was that was snuffling in the dark there, again, I will tell you when you recognize the
sound.
The sound, yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Okay. And I'm going to give you a 100 XP bonus for bringing Aisha's body back as well, too, because I think that was not an easy thing. It added some complication to your circumstances, right?
Oh, absolutely. It added a lot of complication, kind of, in a way, to our lives.
It definitely did. I'll give you 1 second. There's one more thing I want to check for XP. Yeah, this is the thing the thing that's really cool about playing these OSR games is I do get to use pretty much all of my books. Because I can just grab ideas or grab, encounters or whatever or spells from other books, and it's super easy to take them from one game and use them in another one. Because they're all the same sort of like starting point. Okay, where is it here? Where is it here? Jeff, where did I hide it? Come on. The thing I haven't told you I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah, the thing.
Yep. Oh, I found it. Okay, so I'm going to adopt, this is something from Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. I will give you guys attendance XP as well. So you're going to get, we played for 2 hours. I'll give you 100 XP for that. And I gave you 100 for bringing what's her name back. Anything else you think that was interesting that happened? That did you have a clever use of an ability?
Not really. I mean,
okay.
I think that's about fair. The main thing that happened is we decided to actually take the body back.
Yeah, and I'm giving you some XP for that.
Exactly. That's
okay. All right. So the group has earned 730. There's only 3 of you, 2 which are henchmen, which means I'll divide by 4. And then I'll multiply by, oopsies, by 4, which is 182 for each of them. And you gain, oops, no, divide by, oh, chip, wrong button. You gain 365, but because of your prime requisite being so high, you actually gain 401 XP tonight. And
nice.
They gained, I think each of them has a bonus as well. They each gain 200. You know, I was thinking about how I would handle sort of because one of the problems with like West Marches or like drop in, drop out game is what do you do with the characters who are kicking around? And what I think I'm going to do is I will allow the player of those characters to tell me before, if they're not going to make a session, they can say, yeah, my guy's available as a henchman. And if they're available as a henchman, the character will gain XP like a henchman, which means they'll get half whatever a PC will get.
Right. But they're at risk of dying.
They're at risk of dying, but it also means that if the player makes it and the party is off somewhere else, they're not going to be stuck playing a henchman rather than playing their character.
Right, like if all of a sudden you're there the next session.
Yeah, so I think like that's a fair way to sort of give a benefit for risking your character, but also putting it in the player's control as to whether, like, you know, our session might, like, you know, if next time we we play this, we've got other players, we can easily, you know, say that there are people who are kicking around Kurn and are going to join the party.
Right.
But if we were like the last session and they didn't have one of their characters as a henchman, then we come back in and say, all right, well, you're playing Amunet for tonight.
Right, because you're not here.
Yeah, until we get an opportunity to introduce your character. So I think that seems like a fair compromise, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Because that gets around the whole blue haze stuff. Like I don't mind. That worked really well for our Shadow of the Demon Lord game last time, but I don't want to keep relying on that. So cool. So that means you are currently, let's see here. Sebek. You've got a whopping, whoa, you've gained over 1,000 XP in the campaign so far.
Nice.
Pretty badass. So you were at 2990. And now you are at the 401. 21,391.
Oh.
That means a scant 17,000 XP until you hit your next level.
Wow.
But that's actually not that far. You figure that, like, especially if you, once you get to that lost city and you start like searching through treasures and those hidden tombs and stuff like that, like, all you need to find is, remember, you get 1 XP for every gold piece you find.
Right.
So if you get a hoard of, say, like 2,000 XP or 3,000, or not 2,000 XP, 3,000 gold or something like that, that means you're bringing back, and you bring it back to town. That means that 3,000 XP that's put amongst the party. It's another 1,000 XP.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah. XP, and I am applying their suggested rule of 4 times. So 4 times your XP. Whatever XP you're getting, you can figure you're going to be getting 4 times that amount in gold. Because tonight you got no loot. You didn't kill anybody. So cool. All right, let me hop out of the old Roll20 here and get back to the regular cam. And I'll stop sharing. All righty. So for those listening at